The president just started the clock, giving Mexico and the EU until August 1st to make a deal or face 30% tariffs. It's maximum pressure over national security, cartel chaos, and decades of lopsided trade. Welcome to the Big Money Show, everyone. I'm Jackie DeAngelis. Joining me, my co-hosts Taylor Riggs, Dagan McDowell, Brian Brenberg. The whole gang is here, and with us for the hour, Making Money host Charles Payne. Always great to see you.
All right, great to be here.
All right, we can't let North America become a narco playground. That's Trump's message to Mexico and to the EU. Time's up on decades of trade deficits and protectionist roadblocks. And just like that, the EU blinked. Shocking. Hours after Trump's ultimatum, Brussels hit pause on retaliatory tariffs that were set to kick in today. Here's the president from the Oval Office earlier.
They were talking about, well, when's he going to make the deal? The deals are already made. The letters are the deals. The deals are made. There are no deals to make. They would like to do a different kind of a deal, and we're always open to talk. We are open to talk, including to Europe. In fact, they're coming over. They'd like to talk to us.
It's America First economics under pressure. Now Wall Street faces a test. Can this rally hold as the tariff clock ticks down? And it seems like we're pretty much flat on the Dow right now. It seems like markets are hanging in there. But I also want to put up this full screen, Charles, as we talk. Top countries that the U.S. buys imports from. EU is number one on that list, $605.8 billion in 2024. Then comes Mexico, then comes China, Canada, and Japan. So arguably, the EU is the most important here. And I find it interesting that the European Commission president says this is now the time for negotiation.
It's time. It's time. Well, that's how they normally work, right? Now we've reached their time. So whenever a dispute happens, they say, let's meet in 6 months at some beautiful five-star resort at a location. Then we'll meet 4 months from there, you know. So we've actually, the times have matched up like, you know, some sort of solar eclipse. And so now's the time. So good. Listen, we know they've been negotiating, talking about this behind the scenes. We know that they're probably, every one of these are probably at least 90% or better closer. It's just that last mile, that last, what can we get out of there? What can we secure? How can we look strong at home? How can we message this publicly? There's a whole lot of parts to this that are involved in the last minute, the last part of it. But ultimately, it's not a surprise now. We've been involved in this. President Trump ran on this platform, right? So you can arguably say, the day after the election in America, every country should have been prepared or started to get prepared for this. You had the April 2nd headlines. So, yeah, now is the time to sign on the bottom line. Now is the time to come to Washington, D.C. and say, OK, we're going to hash this thing out. Like any tough negotiation, I think they're down to the brass tacks.
Right. And he's also threatening Mexico, saying, Brian, you're not doing enough with fentanyl. He has towed the same line with Canada as well. Both were on the list that we just referenced with respect to being top 5. So, you know, he's kind of drawing the line in the sand and saying, you better get to it.
Yeah,
I mean it.
I like your line in the sand metaphor because I think that's what makes things happen in politics. You have to have deadlines. So I look at all this, the 30% and so forth, and I'm like, well, it's not August 1st yet.
Right.
So just let's talk on August 1st and see what happened. And I bet by August 1st, it's going to look different than it looks today. And President Trump wants the best deal for America. He wants Mexico to do as much as possible on the narcotics front, on the fentanyl front. And so he's pushing and pushing and pushing. When you have an agent who represents you, that's what you want your agent to do.
Yeah.
The president works for the American people, and his job is to get great deals. And so he sets deadlines and he pushes. But as he just said in that clip, he's also always open to the conversation. Come see me. Come talk. And as we know from experience with the president, when people come see him, things happen. So to me, it's like, let's talk August 1st and let's see where this all came down. But I like the fact that you got a president who's putting August 1st on the calendar.
He's pushing it. He sticks to his deadlines. I'm wondering, Dagan, if you think the EU capitulated a little bit by not imposing that retaliation.
Yes. And the headline in Bloomberg, they labeled this, I think, an exclusive. I'm not sure how this is an exclusive. Trump's tariffs push economies to broaden trade ties. Well, what took you so long? Like, if you were all in and weren't so nationalist and protectionist, then why didn't you link up with all of these nations or even begin to develop these relationships when President Trump was in office the first go round. And I'm talking about, who are you going to do business with? China, because they're so reliable. That's going to be your strategic trading relationship. Is COVID now a fond memory for you? Lucky that you haven't had the fentanyl crisis that we have in the United States. So I think that, and if you showed that chart of who we buy imports from, well, what's more important, and the numbers, if you get them from the Commerce Department, are slightly different, higher even for the European Union. But we've got a trade deficit with the European Union and Mexico. There you go. And China. And so they need us more than we need them. And that puts us in a position of leverage. And President Trump, I think, will take advantage of that size and strength as an economic power, and then kind of pick these trading blocks off one by one. And again, I mentioned the protectionist and kind of nationalist positions of all of these countries, as if Canada doesn't protect its dairy and its timber. And France, God forbid that you challenge its cheese.
Why are they so intimidated by
wine.
American cheese? No, I'm just joking.
Right, exactly. That this whole notion that they're just this free, that they're just open to free trade, and President Trump is just this evil nationalist doomsayer is just poppycock. So I just think that, and the market has just sailed right on by all of this talk.
I nominate poppycock for our word of the hour.
But let's talk about
It's
the
an early
markets
contender.
and bring it back, because markets are being good about this,
Yeah.
Taylor. 2 more weeks, essentially, until that August 1st deadline. But, at some point, does the poppycock hit the fan?
Well done. A
lot of
plus
feathers.
for using it in colloquial language or whatever we say.
That's how the word becomes yours.
That's how we start using it.